and got my degree. And ironically, after I got my degree, I was laid off. But I walked away from the table better than when I sat down. So I had tons of experience. I now had a degree to solidify it. So I was ready to advance my life.
Wow. I will tell you that helped me. That by itself helped me tremendously because, I was up against two sitting councilmen who had all these years of experience. I just came to the table as an entrepreneur that knew business, and our city is in need of, developing that. And when I saw that quote, I owned it. I took that with me. It blessed me tremendously. And so I knew that had to come from somewhere. And so now, what was the very first book you wrote?
The very first book I wrote is Rhythm Can't Keep Time. And for your listeners, I will advise you that that is a erotic book. So it has strong sexual content in it. And I wrote the book because I was meeting women who were making life-changing choices because of great sex or because of what they thought was love and affection. And reality, it was just lust, and it was causing them, I was watching these women that were just going off the deep end, and I'm like, oh no. So when I sat down to write Rhythm Can't Keep Time, I knew the message that I wanted to convey, but it wasn't until I started writing the book that I then incorporated the erotica piece to it. And if anyone who has read the book and if they read the reviews on Amazon, it doesn't even talk about the sex. It really talks about the lessons learned. I even had one reader say, where were you 20 years ago? This book would have benefited me 20 years ago. And so it definitely has word in it, but I will caution that it has about 3 or 4 major sex scenes in the book.
Wow, and so I would imagine that everything that you were learning from these women, what do you think was the key piece that kept them from winning in their life as a whole?
Well, what I have discovered is more often than not, women don't really know what we need, want, and what our deal breakers are. More often than not, we don't really know. We say we want, oh yeah, we're in love. Are you in love with the thought of being in love, or do you genuinely love that man? Do you really know what you want from a relationship, or do you love the fact that you're in a relationship? So what tends to happen is we confuse those kisses and those touches with love, affection, and we think it's fulfillment, when in reality it's not. And I think that a lot of women, it's like once we go through it, we're through it. And I know a gentleman once told me, he says, well, women start off smart, he said, and then they take a decline, and then they come back up. And when I thought about it, I can look back over my life and say, okay, yes, he was my stupid mistake. Oh, yes, I can see that. And so I think a lot of times we fall off, or we look for that acceptance, or we look for other things to fulfill a void that may exist. And so it's easy to make sex, affection, shopping, whatever the addiction may be, to become that comfort, that void. So one of the elders in my church, she actually read the book, and she said, if you took out sex and you incorporated drugs, if you incorporated alcohol, overeating, a shopping addiction, any of those things, she said, you can plop it in, those are her words, you can plop it in right there where the sex is, and the story would still read the same. Because the story is about a woman who knew what her boundaries were, and she didn't listen to her gut instinct, and she listened to or she complied with those things of the flesh, if you will.
Right.
So when you really think about it, it's easy, especially as Christians, for us to point out the obvious. Oh, yeah, sex, drugs, and alcohol. But what about, gluttoncy? What about hoarding? What about
all of that.
disobedience?
Right.
What about complacency? So there are still things that hold us back from achieving our purpose in life.
Wow, I am excited. We have so much to talk about, but you are listening to 108 Praise Radio. We are so excited to have the tremendously awesome, fantastic author, Deondriea Cantrice. I tell you, I keep her book, one of her many books, by my side at all times. We will be right back. We are going to listen to, I love this song. This song has gotten me through so many things. No other name is higher than Jesus. We'll be right back with AliShane.